Hi, this is Dame Pasty from WatchersOnTheWall.com. I'm here to review and recap the first episode of Season 5 Game of Thrones entitled The Wars to Come. Now this video is mostly spoiler-free, but if I do decide to do one, I will give you big red letters saying spoiler. Now let's get started. This episode gets started with a young, sweet little Cersei. Actually it starts with a young, bitchy little Cersei and her friend who go off into the woods to ask a witch about their future. And, you know, this is Game of Thrones, so you know it ain't going to be pretty. Sure enough, the witch tells her, well, you know, you're going to have 3 kids, but your husband's going to have 20 rugrats running around, so good luck with that. And she also tells her something interesting. She says, gold will be their crowns and gold their shrouds. Now, as a mom, I don't like to think about my kids in shrouds, so I kind of felt sorry for her, but then I remembered, well, Cersei's a bitch. She's a bitch then, she's a bitch now, and she's nobody to feel terribly sorry for. So then we go to Cersei in real time, or Westeros time, and she's in a litter or carriage on her way to the Sept for her father's funeral. And of course the whole city has to wait while she goes in there and pretends like she loves her father. And the whole time she's just there to really, you know, ream her lover slash brother a new asshole. And that's what she proceeds to do over his dead body. 3 things to note about this scene. 1, the art department has gone above and beyond already. You can see it right away. The Sept of Baelor is so much more detailed than it was in the past. Did you notice the statues, the massive statues around the Sept of the 7 gods? That was really awesome. It's just astounding how much detail they've done. So I'm really, really excited about that. The second thing are those creepy blue stones on Tywin's eyes. They're like weird, funny, but not in a really haha kind of way. But in all fairness, you know, if Martians landed on our planet tomorrow, they would probably find some of our funereal practices pretty horrific. So, you know, let's not be too judgmental, but kind of just woo, just kind of weird. Third, when Cersei kisses Tywin's head, you know damn well that she is mourning the loss of a source of protection and a source of power, but she is not mourning the loss of the person. And her feelings are so disingenuous, as usual. Next, we fly across the sea, and we get this great Breaking Bad look view through Tyrion's shipping crate, and then we see Varys release him, and he's pretty pissed off, and he's still apparently pretty drunk. And I gotta say, that boy really, really, really needs a bath. Turns out Tyrion was not very happy about being stuck in that box the whole way, but Varys does not put up with any sass from him whatsoever. So while I'm watching the scene, I'm envisioning these 2 writers in a room, and they're sitting around talking about, gosh, this scene really needs something. It's missing something. Just go ahead and throw in some scatological references. That always works. Oh yeah, great idea. How about some vomit too? Perfect. You always have to give Game of Thrones credit for dealing with stuff other fantasy shows and movies don't deal with. Like we saw Bilbo and the dwarves and Frodo eat tons of food and wine and drink of all kinds, but we did not have the misfortune of seeing the bowel movements that followed, and I am eternally grateful for that. However, George in Game of Thrones do not stint us in that regard. This scene between Varys and Tyrion sets up that, hey, he's alive, they're together, and Varys has some very definite and positive motives for helping Tyrion. Next we go to Meereen, where we see the Harpy statue being pulled down off of the top of the pyramid. This scene serves 2 purposes: to reintroduce us to the political and social upheaval that's going on in Meereen, and also on a macro kind of level, and then also to show us on a micro kind of level with an as yet unnamed unsullied soldier who goes to a brothel to get a little spooning and lullaby action going on. So he's there with the prostitute, and he ends up with a gaping neck wound, and I'm not sure that's the happy ending that soldier wanted. The soldier's death leads us to Dany, where they inform her that not only was pulling the statue violating all kinds of OSHA regulations, it also was going to piss off the Myronese nobles. And she said that's okay. And so then she says, oh, and I want you to give White Rat, the soldier who died, full burial rites and a ceremony in the temple. So she wants to make them angry, and she has no fucks left to give. Next we see Missandei talking to Grey Worm and asking him, you know, why did White Rat go to the brothel so ever so innocently with her beautiful eyes batting at him? And it's not an innocent question. She really wants to know why, and she's wondering, well, Grey Worm want to do some of that with me. So Grey Worm doesn't really answer, and a lot of people online were complaining, why did he not answer? So it totally makes sense to me, and here's why. He was raised as a eunuch. He was taught not to be a man in a regular way. He does not know how to express any emotion except aggression or obedience. And so now she's just asking him this question. And last season, they showed you very clearly that he's uncomfortable with his sexuality. So now he's not just going to open up with her and start talking about his sexuality and his motives and how the other brothers feel. I mean, it's just not going to happen. So, so it makes sense. I think we will see what his real answer that we read in the books. We will see that just down the line. He ain't there yet. Give him some time, folks. Give him some time. So they shift to the wall, which is the storyline I'm most looking forward to this season, and we see John sparring with Ollie Strongbow. We also see one of our favorite people. He's just a big fuzzy piggy now. He's just so big. No, not Sam. I meant Ghost. So Gilly is already nagging Sam like a champ. She's, pushing him to work on his sword play, and she's pushing him to protect her from Sir Alisur, I've always got a constipated look on my face, Thorn, who is walking by with his lax-spittle friend Janos Slint. And she also tells him, hey, if I leave and you leave with me to protect me, you're going to get executed. Now, I hope that really doesn't happen because I love Sam. I would hate for that to happen to him. So this is a very good scene in that it shows us very quickly what the political situation is at Castle Black. You've got Sam still in love with Gilly and protecting her. You've got an upcoming election for the Lord Commander. You've got Sir Alisur hating everyone. You've got John being hated by some and loved by others, and him being his normal, typical, heroic self. So you've got a lot of things going on, and don't forget Team Stannis is there. Okay, I think John's interaction with Ollie is important, and here's why. John's arc has followed Dany's arc, or she's followed his, or they followed each other. And Dany has already been betrayed by someone she cared about and trusted. I think it's John's turn to be betrayed by someone he cares and trusts, and I think that person is going to be Ollie. Since Team Stannis is at the wall, Melisandre has to make her appearance, and she does, and summons John to the top of the wall to talk to King Stannis. And while they're on the elevator ride, she's like totally digging. She's like, wah, chicka, wah, wah, all over John, and he's giving her this, he's just ignoring her. He's actually, the look on his face seems quite familiar. I think, yeah, I saw that look from guys all through high school, actually. So they're in the elevator, and you hear her theme, or Lord's theme, or the Red God's theme, whatever you want to call it. You hear her theme rising, you're like, oh shit, what's going on? And then she asked John if he's a virgin. And I was like, what? So Stannis is on the wall looking all kingly and shit. And I gotta be honest, I don't like Stannis. I've never liked him. And I understand why a lot of people do out there. I mean, logically, rationally, I understand what they're saying. I just don't agree that he's an appealing person, because I don't like people who are very black and white absolutist, and that's exactly what he is. He's incredibly inflexible. And we see that inflexibility here. He's giving John the opportunity to go convince Mance to save his life. And here's the deal that Stannis is offering. You bend the knee to me. I'll let the wildlings live, give them pardons, citizenship, land, and they go help me recover Winterfell. And Mance is probably not going to like that deal, because it's not really a deal, it's an ultimatum. The show moves across Westeros again, and we are in the Vale with the now brunette Sansa and creepy Uncle Littlefinger and Sir John Royce. And on the field, or on the grass, is Robin Arryn, and he is for the first time attempting to lift something other than his mother's teat, and I mean, in this case, a wooden sword. So while they're sitting there, Littlefinger receives a message, and I'm 99.9% certain that message says, hey, Tywin's dead, Cersei's going to be looking for Sansa. So he gets up and he leaves with Sansa, and he's going to take her somewhere. So then we cut again to the unfortunate pair of Brienne and Pod, who are pausing along a road in the Vale. And Brienne is in an absolutely craptastic mood. Not that I blame her. She hasn't been able to make good on any of the promises she's made, any of the oaths that she's made, she has not been able to make good on, and that sucks balls. So Pod is all Mr. Ever Optimistic, and he's getting on her very last nerve. So it switches again to Littlefinger and Sansa in a carriage, and guess who they're riding right past? Brienne and Pod. I mean, talk about your near misses. The producers are just trying to frustrate the shit out of us, aren't they? They just think people come so close and they're doing it on purpose. Anyway, so Sassy Sansa is questioning Littlefinger about, where are we going? Someplace where you trust everybody? Ha ha ha. And the sarcasm is really dripping off the screen. Ultimately, we don't figure out where they're going. We only know that he's taking her as far away as humanly possible from Cersei. Now, I don't think they're going overseas. So where in Westeros would they go to get as far away as possible from King's Landing? If you paid attention in the preview trailers this year, you'll notice that Sansa was seen in a dark and dank place, very crypt-like. And if you're smart, you figured out that that's probably Winterfell's crypt. So Sansa is most likely going to Winterfell. Now, who's at Winterfell? Let me see. We've got Mr. I've got daddy issues and I'm a sadist Ramsay, and his Papa I'm cold as ice Bolton, along with a very emasculated and pathetic Theon. So Sassy Sansa, gird your loins, because shit is about to get real for you. Cersei may be on Sansa's mind, but I don't think Sansa's on Cersei's mind right at the moment. She's at the funeral after party or something, and she's surrounded by her enemies. So she just had enough of that, and she walks away trying to escape from the Tyrells that seem to surround her literally and figuratively. And who does she run into but Lancel Lannister, her cousin? Except we don't really recognize him that much. But anyway, back on topic. So Lancel's there, and he's different. He's changed, and his father is also there. Now, you may not remember his father either. His father's name is Kevin, and in the books he has a role to play coming up, and so they must be introducing him in the show because they plan for him to play a role. Again, I don't know if it's the same role, but I guess we'll see. Anyway, Kevin's like, oh, he's a sparrow now. So that's some kind of religious fanatic, apparently, of the Faith of the Seven. So then Lancel's talking to her, and he's like doing this little carrot and stick routine with Cersei. The carrot is, oh, let me help you to salvation, and I need you, forgive me for leading you astray. And the stick is, oh yeah, remember how I helped you murder Robert, and we were doing the incestual. Lest you were getting tired of people with their clothes on, we go to a post-coital conversation of Loras and Olivar. Now, Olivar was a young, blonde male prostitute who was in the brothel with Oberyn and Ellaria last season. Anyway, they're starting to get frisky again when Marjorie, his sister, bursts in and interrupts them and kicks Olivar out. Not before, however, she does get a very good look at his junk, both coming and going, if you know what I mean. Anyway, she's there to tell him, hey, we're late for dinner with the royals, and, by the way, you need to be more discreet because homosexuality is not very accepted in Westeros at all. And then Loras says, well, I'm not going to have to marry Cersei now that Tywin's dead, so you're going to be stuck with this pain-in-the-ass law for a while now here in King's Landing. And Marjorie says something interesting. She's like, perhaps. So Marjorie has something up her pretty little sleeve, and I can't wait to find out what it is. Back across the narrow sea, or some sea, in Pentos, we see Varys and Tyrion in new duds. And Tyrion looks really kind of silly in his outfit, but that's on purpose. Then, as Varys is talking, you hear Dany's theme come up slightly. If you didn't notice it, listen to it again. You'll hear Dany's theme come in, and then he does the big reveals, like Dany is the ruler, the worthy ruler that he thinks should take the Seven Kingdoms, and he wants to take Tyrion to Meereen to meet her and to join her cause. Now, a lot of people online do not buy, or really book readers that I've noticed, do not buy that Varys has supported Dany all along, which is what he says. He says, I'm at the mansion of Illyrio Mopatis, who you may not remember, but here's a picture of him from the first season. That's the guy that helped her brother and helped sell her to Khal Drogo. But he was always on Varys' side, and in fact, he was in a scene in King's Landing when Arya was chasing the cat. He was underneath the Red Keep talking to Varys in disguise. That was Illyrio Mopatis. So we have evidence that Varys has been behind the Targaryens, at least from the very beginning. That's the first thing. The second thing is that Varys is really, really smart. A lot of people point to the murder plot for King Robert that he set up as being evidence as why he's not supporting Dany. But the truth of the matter is that if Varys wanted somebody dead, they'd be dead a long time ago. So if he wanted Dany dead, I don't have no doubt that she would already be dead. Back in Marine, Hizdar Zolorak, I can't say that guy's name very well, the Milanese noble who had to beg for his father's crucified body last season, comes back with Dario, and they've got good news. There's peace in Yunkai. Except the Yunkai masters want some concessions from Dany. Now, Dany's all acting like Stannis. I'm not a politician, I'm a queen. And I think even Sir Barristan is annoyed by that, because he's been trying to convince her to show strength through mercy. But she just doesn't get it. So Dario catches her eye, and then they shoot straight to the post-coital scene with them, and we finally get to see Dany acting like a human being. We finally get to see her doubts, and Emilia Clarke is finally given some dialogue to work with and seem like a person again, and it's been a long, long time since we've seen that, so I'm really happy to see that. Anyway, she seems like a real person finally again, and we get to see that, hey, she's lost control of her dragons. And Dario ominously says, you know, a dragon queen without dragons is not a queen. So this pushes Dany to go down to the catacombs to see Viserion and Rhaegal, and they are like teenagers who are just over it, man. They're just throwing tantrums. They're just, fuck this shit. Mom won't let us come and go as we please. We can't go out on dates. This sucks. So they throw a horrible tantrum. And are they big or what? They've gotten really big. Now, a lot of people online were saying, how do they get so big if they're down there and aren't, they're not being fed? Well, how could they survive if they're not fed? They are magical creatures, true. However, they still need to be fed. They can't live off of air. Now, if you think they're big, I can't wait to see Drogon, who's been flying around eating sheep, people, horses, who knows what. So he's probably massively huge, and I'm so excited to see what he looks like. Seriously, though, this shows us that the writers have set up Dany's mission for this season, and that mission is to tame those dragons or die trying, because if she doesn't do it, she has no authority going forward. She might as well forget Westeros. She can forget holding on to Marine or Yunkai or anything. She's just screwed if she does not get control of these dragons. So we finally return to the wall. Oh, angels sing. And Jon is in the cell with Mance. And so Jon argues, who's going to be there for your people when the winter comes and the White Walkers are here? And it's a good point, and I think it's the right point, except Mance is too... It's not pride. He has his honor, and honor is important to him. Ned at first said, no, I'm not going to admit to do something or give in to a king's demand because it would be dishonorable. But then he decides to save his children, and he ends up dead anyway. And here we have Mance. He's going to stick to his honor and refuse the king, but he's going to end up dead anyway. So hopefully Jon is seeing, like, yeah, sometimes no matter what you do, you end up dead. And that's a damned if you do, damned if you don't lesson for Jon there. That's kind of important. So Jon tells Mance they're going to burn you, and Ciarán Hinds does an awesome job, and Kit Harington did a great job in this scene as well. The acting was just superb. Ciarán does this twitch on his face thing that just really is like, ooh, that's good. That's really good. Good acting. So he's scared, and he should be. So then a few seconds later, they lead Mance to the stake, and he stops, and he tells Stannis, hey, I think you're going to need luck in the wars to come. And then they put him on the thing, and he's being all brave. The fire's creeping up, and he's trying to be all brave. And let me stop at this point and just say how much I hate Melisandre. I cannot stand that witch. And then Selyse, the pinched-faced wife of Stannis, she's up there forcing her poor child, Shireen, to watch this poor man burn to death. And she's smiling. She's like, are the s'mores on the campfire done yet? This isn't Girl Scouts. This is a man burning at the stake. It's horrific. This ain't shit to be smiling about. I just wanted to smack her. Anyway, back on topic. So Mance is trying to fight, going out ignobly, and then you see Tormund, and he's trying not to lose his shit, and then that makes me want to lose my shit, and finally, fist pump time, Jon puts an arrow through Mance's heart to give him mercy. Now, I think there are going to be consequences for that. Overall, I think this is a great season opener. In fact, I think it's one of the best. It is second behind only Two Swords from last season. So this ranks second on my list of all-time best Game of Thrones premieres. That's it for now. Join me, Dame Pasty, next week when I review the second episode entitled The House of Black and White. See you then.